This fourth Sunday of Advent, the Gospel is the Annunciation, a familiar scene to us, where the Blessed Mother gives her fiat to the astonishing invitation from God that she become the Mother of God, or the Mother of Christ. And she raises a natural question, how can this be? And she's stunned by the angel's visit. But in the end, she surrenders and she trusts. This last fall at our priest assembly, I shared a prayer experience that I had a few years ago that was perhaps one of the most profound of my life. I was preparing to leave this country and go do mission work in the Dominican Republic. And the mission office asked that I go on a retreat before I do that. So I did this 4-day retreat with a Jesuit priest. He gave me 3 different scripture passages to meditate on an hour apiece every day. Try meditating on one scripture passage for an hour. Easier said than done. But it was a rich experience. So one of them was Luke chapter 5, the miraculous catch of fish. And it's where Simon Peter has been fishing all night, catches nothing, listens to Jesus preach. Jesus tells him to put out into the deep, lower the nets, and he'll find something. And at that moment, he has this miraculous catch of fish. So in my meditation on that scripture account, I was pondering Jesus calling me to go do mission work in the Dominican Republic, just as he had called Simon Peter. What I found a consistent distraction in that prayer were things that I was anxious about, worried about, things that were distressing me as I was leaving, primarily the fact that I didn't know Spanish, my concern about being homesick or not connecting with the people, or just living in that experience of poverty and what all of that would mean. So I kept going back to the prayer, and I heard Jesus say to me in the prayer, write down all the things that you're worried about, all the things that are causing you anxiety. So I literally stopped the prayer, took out a piece of paper, filled a page of things that were on my mind, things that I was anxious about, had questions about, wondered about, in terms of leaving to go live and work in the third world for a number of years. I resumed the prayer, and I'm holding the paper. So I hand the prayer to Jesus, and I said to him in the prayer, Lord, what's your answer to all of my questions and all of my fears? In the prayer, he doesn't say anything, takes the paper, folds it up, tucks it in under his outer cloak next to his heart. He and I are walking down the beach together. I keep asking him. He keeps saying nothing. Finally, he opens up his outer cloak, and the fire of his heart had consumed my paper to ash in the prayer. And this gentle breeze just carried those ashes away. And I felt this tremendous peace and consolation flow over me in that moment. And I knew that somehow in that moment, everything was going to be all right. What's astonishing is that as my mission experience unfolded, all the things that I was anxious about actually happened. So the prayer wasn't this magic shield against those things occurring. But whenever they did occur, they brought me back to that prayer, and I knew that somehow everything was going to be okay. So in this season of Advent, do we not all need to hear that word of consolation? That somehow, in the midst of our anxieties and fears and distress, that everything is all right, because ultimately we are held in God's hands and heart. That's the consolation that Mary came to know in the moment of the Annunciation, and it freed her to give a total surrender, a complete fiat, a self-donation to God to become the Mother of Christ. What are our fears, stresses, and anxieties that this fourth Sunday of Advent, the Lord is inviting us to hand over, to give away, so that he can burn up those fears in the fire of his heart and give us consolation and strength, even as we may face them, even as they may occur, knowing that anything difficult, dark, or distressing ultimately can only lead us to the light if we are faithful. On this fourth Sunday of Advent, we honor the Blessed Mother and her remarkable surrender of trust.